And when I completed the Joliet assignment, I fulfilled the promise I made to myself to start to hire salesmen immediately. When I did, an amazing thing happened. I encountered powers unknown to me. I raised my horizons, for I recognized a principle I could use, and when I did, I saw opportunity and grasped it. What I saw and what I did marked the beginning of a financial empire. It was very simple. I placed a 4-line ad for salesmen in the classified ad section of the Chicago Sunday Tribune. I had inspiration to action, but I lacked know-how and knowledge in the skill of hiring. Nonetheless, after much thought, I constructed a 4-line ad that has required very little change over a period of many, many years. It got results, at times fantastic results. Exceptional opportunity to earn was the lead line. The number of personal calls at my office as a result of the ad was more than satisfactory. But the amazing thing to me was the number of letters I received from applicants outside of Chicago, downstate Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, and elsewhere. I hadn't realized the power of an advertisement in a metropolitan Sunday newspaper to reach beyond the city limits, but I soon decided to grasp the opportunity. I saw the possibility of expanding beyond the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. So I immediately wrote to Harry Gilbert and indicated that I had a prospective salesman in Wisconsin and another in Indiana. Would it be all right to hire them, I asked. I felt it unwise to refer to more than two until I got one foot in the door. I sent the Michigan inquiries to my mother in Detroit. The 5 anxious days that I waited for a reply seemed mighty long. Before I received an answer, I hired 2 men for Chicago, wrote to those who had made inquiry from the rest of the state, and engaged in personal sales for 4 of the 5 days. I needed immediate income. On Saturday, the letter from Mr. Gilbert arrived. He was complimentary and encouraging, and he gave me permission to hire the applicants in Wisconsin and Indiana. Mr. Gilbert had no representatives in either state for this special policy department. So I wrote to these applicants. It never occurred to me to suggest a personal interview, and they accepted my offer. Then I reasoned, if Mr. Gilbert would allow me to hire 1 applicant in each state, he would allow me to hire more. This was an exceptional opportunity for me, and I decided to take it. In addition to continuing to advertise in the Chicago Tribune, I placed ads in the Milwaukee and Indianapolis Sunday papers. Result? More inquiries, more salesmen from these states, and inquiries from other states as well. Again, I wrote to Mr. Gilbert, and it was only a matter of time until I was hiring salesmen in every state where he did not have an agency for his department. For I realized that I had hit upon a success formula, and it paid to get the most out of it. I moved ahead quickly in building a sales organization through the mail. Yet I continued to sell personally, for I needed the income. My procedure was to answer letters early in the morning, sell until 5 in the afternoon, then return to my office for an hour or so for any additional office work required. I preferred to work downtown Chicago, for I could then get in additional office time. Naturally, with the expansion of business, it became necessary for me to expand my office facilities. So I gave up my desk space with Mr. Pickering and established my own office. At first, I too rented desk space to others to reduce overhead expenses. By my agreement with the insurance companies I represented, I owned the business and would pay all expenses except the printing of the policies and the payment of the claims. Soon, I expanded my advertising to include national magazines, and inquiries came from states where Mr. Gilbert already had established exclusive agencies. So I wrote to him, mentioning these inquiries, and asked his advice. Harry Gilbert was a generous man, and he was pleased with the volume of business I was producing. He wanted to help me. So he suggested that I write to E.C. Mehrhoff of the Commercial Casualty Insurance Company of Newark, New Jersey, with his recommendation. Here again I learned an important lesson. When you have a delicate problem because of the possibility of feelings being affected, go directly to the person involved and ask him for advice in solving the problem. He is the one who can help you. As you listen, you'll see how this principle was used. My self-motivator for such a situation was, ask advice from the man who can help you. My letter to Mr. Mehrhoff brought the answer I wanted. He gave my agency, Combined Registry Company, exclusive rights in the entire United States to sell a special accent policy of my own design. I named it the Little Giant, to symbolize a lot of protection for little cost. And ever since then, I've used that name for any similar policies. I continued to do business with Mr. Gilbert, and in some states I was running 2 sales organizations. More ads, more salesmen, more business. I had to multiply myself again. This time I needed sales managers in each state. The men for these positions were selected from my sales force, and their commissions were increased, so my percentage of profit on each unit sale was reduced. But I earned a larger net income from volume sales. Eventually, my organization was selling several 100,000 policies a year. The sales managers were motivated to do their best. The more policies the salesmen under them sold, the more money the sales managers earned. Their overriding commissions were sufficiently high to warrant the investment of their time, effort, and money to build an organization in the states under their supervision. Thus, my time, effort, and money were saved. I decided to invest my time and effort to complete my high school education and to prepare for college. It was imperative to have a college degree to get into Harvard Law School, and that's what I was aiming for. It doesn't take much business experience to realize that it's common sense to continue to gain knowledge, to become educated. I knew it was possible for me to make a fortune without a high school education. Many great Americans have. But from studying their biographies, I found that they continued to learn after they left school. Besides, there's more to life than making money. I've already said that I dropped out of high school in Detroit. My mother was on a business trip at the time, and one of my teachers and I had a disagreement concerning his capacity to evaluate my ideas. For some reason, he reported this to the principal, who called me to his office. He endeavored to prove that the time he spent talking to me cost the city of Detroit money, several $100s per minute. Money, I thought to myself. Why, my earning capacity as a salesman is far greater than my teacher's. So instead of motivating me to do what he wanted, not argue with the teacher in the future, his logic caused a reverse reaction. I quit school. And if his logic was correct, Detroit saved thousands of dollars, for I never talked to the principal again. Perhaps at that time, I resented regimented authority, as many high school kids do. Perhaps there were other reasons. There usually are. But I soon entered night school, the Detroit College of Law, and worked days. For I never, at any time, gave up the idea, keep learning.